The U.S. Forest Service is closing a number of campgrounds
today. The Diamond Lake campground is closed until
coast-to-coast storm pounding the southeast. The
unprecedented storm
in the western mountains of North Carolina.
Weird. Can you see me? Let's try this again.
Welcome back. And this time I'm coming to you as part of a collaboration. That's right, back into collaboration. And this time with the Brazen Britts, our Everyday Getaway, TheRoadSmiths, and Happy Place Diaries. And I'm glad to be back. Make sure you watch their video after you watch this one. I need that viewer retention. Watch this one all the way through, then watch theirs, and come back here and leave me a comment. What you thought, who you agreed with, who you didn't. I really want to know what you thought about the other videos. Now, today's topic is when plans don't go as planned. Now, I'm pretty sure some of the other videos are going to call it something else. But that's what we're calling it. When plans don't go as planned. And I'm not an expert. As a matter of fact, I'm horrible at plans. So sometimes when things don't go as planned, I don't even know it because we didn't plan. But I'm going to tell you a couple experiences that we've had and what we did and maybe our learnings from that. But the way I see it, there's really three things that cause a plan not to go as planned. There's mechanical. RVs break a lot. There's logistical, and these can be things like bad weather, COVID, when it came around, it closed down the campgrounds, fires, hurricanes, highway shut down. Right now, I-40 between Asheville and Nashville has a spot that's closed. All those things that logistically make your campground not available or make your route not available or just interfere with what you had planned. And last is personal. Personal could be personal illness or a death in the family or something that takes you away from your originally scheduled plans. So those are what the three are. And the ones I'm going to talk about today are mechanical and logistical. And I'll start with logistical. Now, like everyone who's done this for a while, we've had some of our plans not go according to plan because of weather. So I'm going to concentrate on that. Well, just as an example, if you've watched our videos, you know that one time we didn't get across the bridge in time and got stuck at Edisto Beach right as a hurricane came in. Luckily turned to a tropical storm right as it hit the beach. Unluckily, we were on the beach, but you know, different story, different day. We were also chased out of the Grand Teton areas once because of a fire came down, had to spend the night hooked up, ready to move, and had to move to get out of there. We've had a lot of those experiences, but the one I'm going to talk about today happened in Stowe, Vermont. My son and I love to go to Stowe, Vermont. We've been several times. We've probably done a few videos on it. Beautiful community.
Oh, we're in Stowe, Vermont. Yeah.
Stowe, Vermont. So we're sitting here at Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's factory, one of three. One is also in Vermont, and one is in the Netherlands.
Yep, and we're trying this ice cream. You can only get here walnut maple syrup. And we're looking at the Ben & Jerry's RV behind us.
Yeah.
All right, would you recommend going? Tour worth it?
Yes, very cool.
All right, worth it. I'm gonna eat this now, so bye. But 2 years ago, we decided to drive up to Stowe, Vermont, and we did a very long drive, probably longer than you should. We definitely didn't follow the rules of 3, and we got there in the middle of the night during a 1,000-year flood. Well, I went to go check in at the campground, and the campground was really nice, great campground, highly recommend. And they warned us, there's a flood coming. We've secured a spot at the high school that's on high ground. Either go ahead and go there, or be prepared to get out and go to the high school even in the middle of the night if the water comes up too high. Now, this is my first warning if you're in the middle of a plan not going as planned. What I should have done is gone to the high school right then. What I did do is I went and parked in the middle of a field next to the river, and the water kept coming up and the water kept coming up. So we have a little bit of a problem. This is our campground and this is the road out. And the water is rising, and it's going to be rising for 3 days, and they don't know how bad it's going to get. So we got to figure out how to get our RV out of here because the water's coming up on us. It is insane. It is nuts. It is crazy. It's a 1,000-year flood, and we're caught in an RV. And eventually the water got so high, we were trapped in our campground spot in a basic island pouring down rain. Not sure if we were going to be overtaken by the sweeping river.
Soaking wet. Everything's wet. Trapped in. Can't get off that road. Water's coming up. Rain's not going to stop. So we're sitting in a field right on a river. It's rising and no way out. So, yeah, let's hope morning time we're still here.
It was nerve-wracking. Luckily, we had a break where it quit raining for a little while and the river seceded just enough to allow me to be able to get our camper and truck out of there. And it was probably a little iffy drive getting out of there and a little bit of high water for a camper, but we got out of there and got to high ground and then headed up to Maine, had a great time at Booth Bay and some other places. But what I learned there was, one, always have an exit if you need it in an emergency situation. The problem with this location is there was not an exit if the river came up. You were pretty much stuck there. They did have one way they thought they could take us to get out of there, but the water got up in there too, and campers were getting stuck trying to get through there, and I just didn't think it was a viable exit. So one, always have exit. Two, if you have a warning, take it. Don't wait for the plan to completely go to not as planned. If you know it's not gonna happen, look, we don't want to give up that great camp spot. None of us do. But it's not worth your life. It's not worth your camper. Just go somewhere else. You'll have a great time. We ended up having a great time in Maine. That was an unscheduled trip up there, all because we just need to get out of the flood. Great time. So be prepared to be flexible and move on. That's tip one. Now, what if a plan didn't go to plan because of mechanical failure? Well, if you watch this channel, you know we had a major slide break in our brand new Brinkley Z3610 right as we're getting on the road to go to Fort Wilderness. Luckily, Brinkley helped us out, shipped us the part, and I repaired it myself. You can watch the video on that. We've had other things. Once in Nashville, we had our water heater just start rolling over. That was kind of a problem. We had a fire in West Virginia that started in the outlet box, an actual fire, and we had to take care of that in the middle of the night and move on. Ironically, we went to Stowe after that, different trip. And the one I'm really wanting to talk about today is we had our heater go out, also in Nashville. I guess Nashville's bad luck for us. Also in Nashville, we were heading on a trip where we're gonna hit a lot of harvest hosts for miles across the country. Great time, did some videos on it. But as we stopped in Nashville, our furnace went out. I mean, went completely out in the middle of the night. So what's the problem with the furnace going out in the middle of the night? It was well below freezing. It was in the teens and our water tanks were gonna freeze. There wasn't a lot we could do. So we learned a few things there. One thing I learned when that plan didn't go to plan is from now on, if you're gonna be in the cold weather, bring with you some antifreeze. This stuff will save you in that situation. Why? Well, we couldn't keep our pipes from freezing because we didn't have any heat, and our tanks and our pipes depend on that furnace to keep from freezing. If I would have had this with me, I could have just dumped my water, pumped this into the lines, and I would have been fine. But I didn't have it with me. We ended up getting an electric heater, putting it under the camper, and doing some other things just to keep the heat on the various areas that could freeze up until the morning. Oh, by the way, I'll leave a link below for this and some of the other items that we use to fix our camper and stuff. And I'll leave these links because I make money if you use them, and I like money. So, you know, money. So the second thing we learned is the next morning, I did one of the best things you can do when you're trapped on the road and you're needing to fix something. And this particular thing, the way the furnace was, you needed two hands to really get it out of there. And that is, there's nothing better than having a good RV tech phone number for the region you're in. Look one up as you come into town, because if you need one, you want to be able to call them in a hurry. And we had actually done that. So we were prepared for this plan to not go as planned. And a tech came out, and the two of us were able to get the furnace out of the RV. It needed a fan. He had to move on. I was able to go over to Camping World, buy a new fan, put it in, reinstall it, and the furnace worked and made it through the rest of the trip. So that worked out really well. I've actually done a video on how to troubleshoot a furnace and fix a furnace, and so if you want that, I'll put a link down below. It'd be really helpful if your plan doesn't go as planned. So these are just two short examples, and you'll be like, well, what's the point of all this? The point is, you really need to be flexible if you're gonna RV. Things are gonna happen, things are not gonna go right, and it's so easy to get upset. man, have I heard wives and husbands mad at each other just backing into a campground, much less when something's broke down. So the first thing to remember is it's going to be all right. Things will be okay. Just be calm. Ask your fellow campers for help if you need it. People are really helpful. Get online. There's lots of resources, and figure out an alternative plan and resource. Now, if your campground shuts down, you can find another place to camp. Good idea to have a Harvest Host membership or something, because I've used those as emergency stayovers when we've had campgrounds cancel on us because of weather or etc. We've also been pretty willing when we're out there, if we've had a road go out, which we've had happen numerous times, bridges and roads, just turn it and going somewhere else, just making a new plan. Just if you stay calm and carry on, it normally will turn out okay. And we've had some of the best adventures we've ever had when we were doing something because our plans didn't go as planned. Go watch those other videos.
Okay, so hope you enjoyed that video. We worked really hard on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the other people's videos. There's a burning plane behind me, and I have to leave.